Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a pretty dark journey back in time to ask a really grim question. What was the absolute worst period in history to be a human? We're about to count down the most terrifying, most deadly eras our species has ever had to face.
But first, let me ask you something. I want you to really think about it. Your family tree, your parents, their parents, all the way back, stretching thousands and thousands of years. Have you ever stopped to think about how many times that chain almost snapped? The truth is, your existence is nothing short of a miracle. You are only here right now because a completely unbroken line of your ancestors managed to survive things that honestly should have wiped them out. You're the result of sheer, stubborn survival against truly impossible odds. So let's count down the 5 deadliest eras they had to get through, kicking it off with number 5. Okay, starting our countdown at number 5. We're going to a time when the entire planet was pretty much actively trying to freeze you to death.
Welcome to the Last Glacial Maximum, about 20,000 years ago. And forget a little snow. Imagine an endless global winter. This was a world absolutely smothered in ice, where survival wasn't just the goal, it was a full-time job, 24/7 with 0 days off.
Life was brutally simple. You had ice sheets literally 2 miles thick covering entire continents. Your biggest worry wasn't, a bad internet connection, it was finding enough calories to keep your body from freezing solid in your sleep. Dinner? That just meant trying to take down a mammoth with a sharpened stick. And medicine? Forget it. A simple cut could get infected and that was it. Game over. And yet somehow, your ancestors made it.
All right, coming in hot at number 4 is a time when humanity had what seemed like a brilliant idea that, it accidentally made life much, much harder. So, around 10,000 years ago, somebody, somewhere, got sick of chasing their food all over the place and thought, hey, what if we made the food come to us? And just like that, agriculture was born. On paper, it's a genius move, but in reality, oh man, it unleashed a whole new world of suffering.
The change was just dramatic. As a hunter-gatherer, your diet was incredibly varied and you lived in small mobile groups. That meant it was actually really hard for diseases to spread. But as an early farmer, you were stuck. You were packed into crowded villages eating the same grain-heavy diet day in and day out. This led to vitamin deficiencies, diseases spreading like wildfire, and for the first time, widespread tooth decay. And if you had one bad harvest, the entire village could starve.
Coming in at number 3, the biggest threat is no longer Mother Nature. Now, it's other people, on horseback, and they are not here to make friends.
If you were alive in the 13th century and you saw a cloud of dust on the horizon, it was already too late. This was the era of the Mongols. Led by the legendary Genghis Khan, they forged the largest land empire in all of human history, and they did it with a level of brutality that was just off the charts.
Their strategy was terrifyingly simple and brutally effective. They were absolute masters of mobile warfare, literally centuries ahead of their time. Their horse archers could hit you with pinpoint accuracy while at a full gallop. They'd appear out of nowhere, destroy everything in their path, and then just vanish, leaving entire cities completely wiped off the map.
The scale of this is it's hard to even comprehend. Historians estimate the Mongols were responsible for the deaths of around 10% of the entire world's population at the time. In a world with way fewer people, a number like that is absolutely staggering. Surviving this wasn't about being strong, it was about being lucky enough to be somewhere else.
Our runner-up for the worst time to be human wasn't a conquering army you could see, it was an invisible one. A biological nightmare that brought the entire continent of Europe to its knees. In 1347, the bubonic plague rolls into Europe. It's carried on rats and spread by fleas, but of course they had no idea. With zero concept of germs or how diseases worked, it just spread like wildfire. Survival became a terrifying game of chance. You could literally go to bed feeling fine and be dead by sunrise.
The devastation was almost total. The Black Death wiped out between 30 and 60% of Europe's population. I want you to just think about that. Look around you. Now imagine if 1 out of every 2 people you knew was just gone. Entire villages were left empty. Economies completely collapsed. The world was fundamentally and terrifyingly changed forever.
And now, we've arrived at number 1, the single worst time to be a human being. This isn't about a war or even a disease. This is about a moment, a single event, when our entire species was almost completely deleted from existence.
About 74,000 years ago, a supervolcano in what we now call Indonesia, called Toba, erupted. Now, this wasn't just any old eruption. This was a full-blown, extinction-level event that pushed humanity right to the very edge of the abyss.
The eruption set off a global catastrophe. It was so massive that it blasted enough ash into the atmosphere to cause a volcanic winter that lasted for years. It literally blocked out the sun. Temperatures around the world crashed. Plants died. The animals that ate them died. And for the few thousand early humans scattered across the planet, the world suddenly became a frozen, dark, and empty desert.
After Toba, scientists believe the entire human population was reduced to this: fewer than 3,000 people left on the whole planet. That's not a city. That's not even a small town. That's maybe the size of a large high school. Every single one of the 8 billion people alive today is a direct descendant of that tiny, desperate handful of survivors.
So when you think about your life, your home, your job, the simple fact that you get to be here, remember that chain of survival you represent. You are the impossible, improbable miracle that your ancestors endured ice ages and plagues and supervolcanoes to create.
And that really leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? Every generation faces its own impossible challenges. Thousands of years from now, when our descendants look back at this moment in history, what will they say we survived?